Good afternoon, everyone. This is Carliss. We're inside the studio with Carliss today. And today, as we lead into Mother's Day, we have a special guest, my beautiful wife, Miss Janell Gerard Jones. Janelle has joined us today to talk about motherhood. She's going to talk about her experiences as motherhood, and she's going to probably share some nuggets for our mothers that are listening today that you can take into your everyday life. Don't know what she's going to say. As you know, this podcast is not scripted, and that's the beauty of the podcast because I would like the guests to share their stories of things that maybe can help you in your everyday walk in life. So, with that being said, Janelle, please introduce yourself to our in studio with Carlos audience.
Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you for having me on today. I appreciate the opportunity to come. I am Janelle Gerard Jones, just simply Janelle. I am Carlos's wife, and I am the mother of two sons, Joshua and Jared, ages 32 and soon to be 27. I am a retiree of a 25-year public service career with the federal government, and currently I'm a flight attendant with Delta Airlines. I am also a business owner of Creative One Bling, which is a t-shirt business where I make custom tees, and I'm a pet mom to Patchy, my 13-year-old pit bull.
Awesome. You do have a lot in your portfolio. So you will be a great candidate to just share some tips about the overall motherhood piece. And as the husband of you and all the things that you said, you have done an amazing job
Well, thank
as a
you.
mother, leading our family, keeping us focused. As they say, the mothers are the glue to the families, and you have definitely modeled that for the boys and I. So I want to say thank you and thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for thanking me.
All right. So, in tradition of in the studio with Carlos, I'm going to ask you a series of questions.
Okay.
You answer these questions, and we'll talk about them. And if not, we'll move on. So, with that being said, first question: what does being a mother mean to you personally?
Whew. Being a mother is the most outstanding assignment job that anyone could have, any woman could have. When that first moment when you go to the doctor and the doctor tell you that you're expecting, that is the most exciting time and the scariest time of your life, especially for a first-time mother, because you don't know what to expect. To know that there's a life growing inside of you, another life, is mind blowing. And the moment when you feel that first movement inside of your womb is instant love. And going through the pregnancy process, it has its ups and downs, its highs and its lows, depending on what type of pregnancy occurs. For you as a person, I was blessed to have two great pregnancies where I didn't have any complications. Both of my children were natural childbirths, and I had short-term labor. But the moment that child, my first child, when Joshua first entered the world and was placed on my chest, it was instant love. It's a feeling that I'm sure most mothers will agree with me that you never have, that you have never experienced, that unconditional love to know that you're now responsible for another life. So I would say that that has been the most meaningful part of being a mother.
Okay, that's a great answer. All right, excellent. And again, I said before, you have exemplified that statement over the years. So you're not just saying that to be saying it because this is what you feel that you think is the right thing to say. You've actually modeled and lived that. So
Yeah.
again, you should definitely be saluted for.
Yes. And if I can add, not only was it that way when I had Joshua placed on my chest, but it was repeated when Jared was placed on my chest. It's like that feeling all over again to know that this life grew inside of me and now I'm responsible for another human being.
Right. Excellent. Okay. What are some challenges of motherhood that people don't talk about enough?
I feel that the most challenging part of being a mother is that no manual came with this job. It's constantly on the job training. You're learning as you grow. And I feel that I had the best mother to model motherhood for me. I'm the youngest of 7 children, and I watched my mom as she raised me. Well, I didn't see how she raised the other ones because they were much older than me, but in the process of raising me and the sacrifices that she made for me and the knowledge that she poured into me, the modeling that she gave to me of how it is to love people and to just be there for your family was the first, I would say that was the first role model was
Right,
my
right,
mom.
right.
So she
Phenomenal woman.
exemplified what it was to be a mom.
Yeah.
And so I tried to carry all of that into my role as a mom. And it wasn't easy because, sometimes you feel like you're not doing a good job as being a parent. And then sometimes you feel like, are your kids getting it when you're trying to give them the hard
Right, right,
knocks
right.
and the hard love, and the chastisement that comes along with being a parent. So it's been a journey.
Right. Okay. It definitely has been a journey. Well, a couple of things that you said, I just want to elaborate on. First of all, your mother, Frances MacArthur, we call her Mama Frances, was a phenomenal woman,
Yes, she
an
was.
amazing lady. She modeled all the things that you said, and she had the love in her heart that was unbelievable. And there's an old saying: if you want to see what your wife is going to look like when she gets older, look at her mother current. And you are the spitting image of your mother.
Thank you.
You display her characteristics, her traits, that same giving, loving heart feeling to just think that the world is beautiful for everyone, and you see the good. You see the glass not empty or half full. How do you see it?
I see the glass refillable.
Exactly, and that's again, that's a characteristic of Mama Francis, and today, honestly, I wouldn't be here today under the Creative One Photos brand had it not been for your mother,
Mhm.
because she inspired me many, 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 many years ago to follow my dream and my passion and to take it to the level that where am today. So again, I say thank you to you for introducing me to Mama Francis. And I'll never ever be able to say thank you her enough. But
Mhm.
I try to do it in my everyday action to show, hey mama, I'm doing what you advised me to do many, many years ago.
Yes, and she would be extremely proud of you, how you've carried this brand for over 25 plus years or more in the Creative One brand. She would be very, very proud of you, and I'm sure she's smiling down on you as we
Amen.
speak.
Right. Amen. Next question, Janelle. How do you balance taking care of the children while also taking care of yourself? Now, you can talk about when the kids were little, or you can still talk about as they're adult men, because obviously, mothers, they can be 95 years old and you can be 98. They're still going to be your children. And you're going to always keep that embrace around them because I think that's what they call a mother's love.
Yes, you never stop being a parent, whether it be a mother or a father, you never stop. But as far as mothers go, as you said, you will always be a mother to your children because they're always your babies. Even though they're grown, they will always be your babies. And what I found throughout the years is that if I'm not together, if I don't take great care of myself, and make sure that I'm good, then I can't be good for my children. And so I've always tried to have that balance in my life of making sure that I was taken care of first and not being in a selfish way, but in order for me to take care of another person, I have to make sure that I'm good. So I've always tried to have that work-life balance, not placing so much energy on one side or the other, but trying to balance it all out. And even now that there are adult children, I still try my best to make time. Well, I don't try, I do make time for my sons when they need me, but I'm trying to have more of a hands-off approach, more so than a hands-on approach and just allowing them to find their own way. Because as a mother,
Yeah.
you always want to try to shield them from the problems of the world because of your own experiences. And I
Right.
often think of the song that says by Regina, I think it's Regina, who was that sang the song "If I Could"? Can't think of her name right
I'm
now.
not sure.
But it
It's
was the song,
multiple, but
yeah, but it was the song of
yeah.
"If I Could, I Would shield you from everything in this world."
Do you want to sing a verse?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
But, I had to learn that, I had to take my hands off in order to allow them to grow as an individual.
Okay. So that kind of feeds into our next question. What is one lesson motherhood has taught you that you didn't expect?
I would say, to just reiterate of what I just said, that we're all individuals first. And so we have to, as a mother, I had to learn that I can't fix everything. No matter how hard I want to shield them, like I said, from making mistakes or from going down the wrong path or whatever that may. it may look like. You just have to instill in them the morals and the values of what it is to be a great person. And the best gift that I gave to both of them was the love of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
I introduced them both to Jesus Christ as my mom introduced me to Jesus Christ,
Right.
and tried to instill, to model that walk for them in my prayer life and in my Christian life, so that they will know that whenever they reach that fork in the road, that if they can't come to mom or can't come to dad, they can always look up to Jesus. So
Amen.
that was one thing that I am very proud that I was able to give to them, and that was the gift of Jesus.
Amen. Excellent. You're right. And, I say this often. There's nothing like having a spiritual praying mom in the home. It's invaluable. So I can definitely, again, attest to that as well to them. Okay. The next question is, how do you define your parenting style and how has it evolved over the time?
So my parenting style first started off as a protector because, again, like I said, I wanted to protect them from everything and shielding them from anything that I felt that would bring harm to them. I tried to be a hands-on mother, being there to uplift, to help, to teach, to guide. And then as they grew older and they formed their own personalities because both of the boys are very different, as you know. Very different personalities. So you have to learn how to meet people where they are,
Yes, for
even with
sure.
your children. And so where I may have to communicate with one on this way, I had to learn that I couldn't treat them the same,
Yeah.
because they're totally different. So my hands-on approach kind of shifted from just meeting them both where they were and then just still letting them both know that I'm here if you need me.
Yep. It's great. Great advice. What's a favorite memory you share with your children that always makes you smile?
I think the most memorable time was when they were both small and when we were living in Baltimore and you were still in Pensacola. And we would come home every other month because you would come to Baltimore every other month until you retired from the military. And AirTran was our mode of transportation. And because I had status on AirTran, we would most times be upgraded to business class.
Right.
And this one particular time, we did not get a business class seat. And so they were so used to sitting up front, they were looking for their seats. And I'm like, no, we got to go, keep walking. And I think it was Josh who said, we got to go to the back. And I'm like, yes, keep walking, keep walking. And so as we went through flight, from Baltimore to Pensacola, it's about an hour and a half flight or 2 hours or something like that. And when we landed, Jared was probably about between two and a half, he was about 2.5 years old. And when we landed, his ears were plugged and he said, somebody turn me up, somebody turn me up. And the entire cabin just erupted in laughter because he said it so loud. And so that's something that I will always remember. That was a very funny moment for me to see that Jared was the first person that used the word turn up.
Okay. All right. We're going to coin that for Jared. But also, just to elaborate, you talk about your travel status. As you stated earlier, you are a flight attendant for Delta Airlines.
Mm.
However, everyone that knows you and don't know you that will know you from this podcast, this is the travel queen. If you want to travel in style in first class, just accompany Janelle. She knows all the ins and outs, the codes to the different lines, and walk here, walk there, and you get on the plane. You start out in the back, and you're almost up there with the pilot when you travel with Janelle, because it's a true first class experience.
That's the only way to travel.
All right. So, all right.
What did you say about the rental car experience?
Oh, yeah. So when I travel, I'm a novice traveler. Even though I was in the military for over 20 years, traveled the world, but it was a lot more direct type of travel. You go here, you do this, and everything is kind of like already ordered out for you. I started traveling as a civilian, and my status was like low because I wasn't filling out for the multiple miles and all these other things. So I go get a rental car. They say, okay, Mr. Jones, you go get in the back of that line. Next, next, next. When Janelle go picks up the rental car, oh, it's out in the presidential circle. Just go out there and get one. So there's been many times I've called her and say, why am I standing in this line and you have Hertz Plus and with your name up on the placard? I'm sitting out there saying, please let me get a car. Oh, please let me get a car. And I'll call her and she just starts to laugh. But that's the difference. So, Janelle, this has been an amazing interview. I hope you're having fun.
I am.
And I'm glad that we got an opportunity with, like I said, with Mother's Day coming up and both of our mothers being in heaven now, that we get to sit down and just talk about the joy of motherhood. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about this podcast because there's no rules. It's just us talking everyday conversation, but
Mhm.
sharing things so people get to know more about the other side of what they see, in face value when they see you out. So they get to know us a little bit more intimate, especially from a Creative One photo standpoint in the downtown St. Cloud area. I want people to know we are just your everyday people, believers in God, put our faith in God in first in everything that we do. And we're just happy to be able to have this spotlight, this platform that we can come in and do this podcast. So
Yes.
my last question, Mother's Day approaching. How would you like to celebrate or be appreciated on Mother's Day? This is a setup question, so I need to be starting taking notes now because she'll hold me to all these things.
It's very simple, being present, not receiving a present, but being present. Because I feel that Mother's Day is every day,
All right. All right. Talk about it.
and the world sets aside this day, in May to celebrate mothers all across the world. However, we as mothers, we want to be appreciated every day because the job of a mother is not an easy one, but it's a very rewarding one. And the mothers are responsible for everything, everything. So just being present and letting the mother know that they are appreciated. I think when a person knows that they are appreciated and that they're loved and they're adored, that's the best way that you can show up on Mother's Day. Now, if you want to give a nice gift, I'll take that too.
I knew that was coming somewhere after the narrative, but it's one thing, and I'm a big fan of this. I believe in giving your flowers while you're alive.
Exactly.
So, as I stated into this entire podcast, what you mean to our family, and on Mother's Day, and I've instilled this in both of our sons. Always take care of your mother. Treat her as the jewel that she is, and make her feel special.
Yes.
Not on Mother's Day, but every day. Mother's Day, that's another day that's been defined for her. So that's the day that you kind of go above and beyond. And as she stated, it doesn't always have to be elaborate gifts. It can be just a letter, a dear mom letter of thank you, how I love you, why I love you, simple things. And I think that's one thing that I would just want to solicit to our viewers. It doesn't have to be going in debt to get something over the top. It can just
Mm-mm.
be something simple, as Janelle stated, just to show your mom that you love them. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we only have one. And speaking from someone that's mom that has went on to heaven, we understand the importance of giving you your flowers. So I can assure you will have a great Mother's Day. And we will bring Janelle back on the podcast at another date and you can chime in and ask that question. Or we'll let her tell you about her Mother's Day adventure. And also, definitely look forward to having Janelle on the podcast again to talk about her business, talk about her adventures as a flight attendant. And also, she doesn't know this, but she's going to actually be doing her own podcast when she brings her own guest on and you talk about whatever topics that you want to talk about. But with
Okay.
that being said, I want to thank you again. Please go to our YouTube page, like and subscribe. Definitely appreciate it. This is something big and new that we're doing. It's totally unscripted. So that's what I like about it. So you're getting the live, raw, unedited cut versions of our podcast. And again, thank you so much. And who knows, one day you could be in the studio with Carliss.